So this is our first school bag. We're going to start by cutting out the pattern. Since we have watched the previous video where I cut out the pattern, so we use the pattern to cut out the panel rather. Use the pattern to cut out the panel. So this is the front panel. I'm just going to cut it out. I have to pin it down to secure it because it wasn't staying in place, so I use pin to hold it in place to secure it. So I'll just cut like so. So the next thing to do now is to cut the back. So I'm just going to place it there. I tried to pin this, but pin did not work. Then I tried to cut without pinning, but the carton keeps shifting, and normally I'm supposed to put something to hold it, but I'm still thinking of the camera, but I had no choice than to still place it on it. So I did the same when I was cutting this other side. So this is just the only reason why I don't like using carton for my pattern. So if you get pattern paper, I think it's preferably you'll be able to pin down on your leather and work with it. So we're done with the front and the side pocket. So the next thing now is to cut the handle that you used to place the baby we used to back it, or the child we used to back it. So, and the handle measure 4 inches by 10 inches. So that's what I'm just going to measure now. 4 inches by 10 inches in two places. You know, it used to have two handles that you bear on your shoulder to back the bag. That's why it is called backpack. So that's all we're just simply going to cut now. And this handle is measured 10 inches by 4 inches, and you're going to cut two pieces, don't forget. So this is one piece. I'm just going to cut the second one. I just want you to see how it's going to look on the shoulder. So there'll be a foam inside, then I'll tape around with belt. So the next thing is to cut the second one, which I've done. So I just want you to see the bag we are making and analyze what we'll cut. This particular one, you can decide to make it long and put design like this. You can decide to make it short. It depends on your choice. But this one, I want to make it exactly that bag. So I'm going to cut 7 inches for that belt, 1 inch belt, 7 inches for that particular place. Then the one that is connecting the adjuster, from the body of the bag to the adjuster will be cut 11 inches. So I will still explain better when I'm sewing. I just want you to understand what I'm cutting and what you need to cut. Then we need two adjuster. So this is the one I mean, the one that is coming from the body of the bag to the adjuster is 11 inches. So cut that. Then you're also going to cut the one that you used to hang it. Maybe you are in a shop, you need to hang it for people to see that you are selling it. That one is 7 to 9 inches that you can cut. Depend on choice. It doesn't really have specific measurement. Depend on choice, and if it's too long it will not be beautiful. So just make it fancy, and moderacy is necessary. So after that, you still cut the belt that you used to cover up where you sew the handle to the bag. So you need that one too. So those are the belts you are going to cut. Then of course you need belts to tape around the bag, because this bag it's in shop belt too. The taping no be. Now the next thing left is where to cover after adding your handle on the bag and that one that you're hanging with. So after cutting those two, we are done with all the cuts. So after cutting all the belts, all you need to do is to bond the tip to prevent it from fraying. So now we're going to shape out our bag we shape out our bag 4.5 inch from the top. That is the back of the back panel. 4.5 inch from the side inward. Now you connect it with curve. Connect that to 4.5 line with curve. You can do it freehand, and if you have French curve, you can use your French curve if you know you can do freehand. But it's very easy, and this is not really necessary, but it is better because it's going to give you that kind of curvy shape that make the bag look stand out. So after cutting out this particular side, you place it on the other side. Make sure it's equal so that your bag will not be bent. Make sure it's equal when you are placing it. So you see, just place it and use it to trim this other side out. So I realized my top part, where I use as my top part, is not really straight before. So I have to start from the midpoint and cut out. If not, I should have just started from the curve and trace. So I realized that it's not straight. So that was why I started from the midpoint. So if yours was straight, you know the carton was shifting. If yours was straight, just go ahead and cut only the curve from like so what I'm doing. But my own, I later trim it from the midpoint. So if your own was straight, just do it like this and you're done. So this is the back panel. So I'll do the same thing to the front panel, but this time around I'm going to measure 2 inches down and 2 inches from the side, like so. As I'm doing, I'll trim the way I did the back panel. Remember, the back panel is 4.5 inch and this one is 2 inches rather. 4.5 inches for the back and the front 2 inches only. So 2 inches, I'll mark it, then curve. Just want you to see it very well. This 2 inches, so you just mark it and curve. Connect that 2 inches down to the one you mark downward. I hope you are seeing it clearly. Sorry, I have to make this video at night. That was why, and I'm using only NEPA lights. It was daylight, it's gonna be brighter, but I believe you can see it. So just trim like so. Place it on each other and trim. Place it on each other and trim the other side just to ensure accuracy. So you see. So this one too, I realized that it's longer than each other. So I'll make sure I trim it from the midpoint together with the curve just to ensure that it's accurate. You see the way I'm folding it to ensure that it is accurate. So I'm taking this gently because I'm still going to make the big size of this bag and the bigger size and the biggest size, and I won't be going through all this in video. That's why I'm taking this as detailed, so that you, when I just tell you this was what I did, you refer to this video and understand what I'm talking about, please. If not, we're going to spend 1 year learning school bag and lunch bag. So let's make it easier for ourselves and faster so that we can move to another topic. So this is it. We are done with the shaping. Next thing is to cut our foam, and you know our foam will be smaller than the leather in all the cardinal points. So I decided to cut the back panel foam first. So after tracing the shape out, I will remove the panel, then start reducing my foam the way we reduced the that one of the what's it called, the lunch bag. If you remember, that was why I actually first of all use foam for lunch bag, so that you know how to reduce foam for both lunch bag and school bag. So after tracing it out like this, I'll reduce all round with with half an inch, but the down part I reduced it with 1 inch. The reason is that I realized that even when you are working with foam, I don't know if it stretches. After getting your measurements, you realize that it will still find its way to the edge of the bag where you want to sew. and you still be encountering the problem you are running from. So I want to see how this one will stretch and still get to the edge. So I reduce the down part with 1 inch and reduce side and upper part with half an inch. So let me see how it's going to be. So some people do reduce everything with 1 inch. It really did not matter because the foam purposely stand from there to bring out the shape. And remember, you can use Marco as well, and you can use fiber, anything that will just make it stand. So that's me. I'm using foam. So I'm just going to take in the measurements that I'm supposed to take in just to reduce the foam. Just the purpose is to reduce the foam. But if you know you have the strength to sew both foam and leather like times two of each side together, no problem, you can cut exact size. So I'm staying on the measuring of taking half an inch in and 1 inch in from the down part. So after doing this all round, be careful so that you get your curves correctly, so that your curve don't later bend. But all the same is the foam. I don't think it should have an effect on it, but still ensure care. So after that, from the side half, from the top half, then from the down part, you use 1 inch. So after doing this now, the next thing is to cut out your foam. Cut out your foam and make sure you get your shape correctly. So after cutting out your foam, you place it down. You are going to work on this foam by measuring the full length. So when I measure the full length of this foam, I got 14 inches, and 14 inches divided by 2, that is 7 inches. So the midpoint will be 7 inches, so I mark 7 inches as the midpoint. So after marking 7 inches, you divide 7 inches by 2 to give it 3.5. So from the midpoint, mark 3.5 to the right and 3.5 to the left. So what you have left at the middle should be 7 inches. And from that each mark, you are going to sew the what's it called, the foam on the leather. So I'll do that on my sewing machine so that you understand better. So I just want you to understand that place here, and when I'm doing it, you understand it more. So we're just going to do that on our sewing machine. Work on our leather and foam before adding our lining. So watch, I'm still trying to trace the mark. Okay, this one is for the front panel, the foam for the front panel. So the video is going to end here because you already know what I'm going to do here. The front panel is just going to repeat the same thing as the back panel. So I'll trace it out with half an inch on both sides and up, while 1 inch on the down part. Then cut out my foam and start working on that. I don't need to take midpoint from the foam here because it's the front panel. We are going to cut the foam for the handle where you place on the shoulder. This foam is going to act as strength for the handle, so it will help the handle relax well and last longer. So, and it will not make it too hard on the shoulder, kind of coffee, make it coffee and puffy on the shoulder. So it's measured 10, the handle is 10 inches by 4 inches, but the foam is 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch by 9 inches. I know it's still going to stretch out, but I will trim. So I'll just use to cut the second one. You know, it's two handle, so use it to cut the second one. That's So now this is the lining we'll be using, and whenever you are cutting your lining for your bags or your lunch bag, your school bags or your lunch bag, make sure you cut it in excess. In case it shrink or shift, you just have to trim out. So this is the zip clothes, and this is my back panel. Just want to analyze it. I just want to be sure that everybody understand what we are doing here. And if you don't understand, don't say you don't want to stress me. Tell me where you are not getting it. I will explain. Maybe the camera mistake, or it was an oversight. Just tell me. I will come back and explain it. just ask in the main group. I will explain to you. And if you have not joined the question and answer group, please chat me privately so that immediately I send you the link, I will approve you on the question and answer group, because very soon we'll be doing some bonuses there that will not be done on the major group. So this is, I'm just trying to set them aside so that I'll make sure that everything is complete. So this is the phone for the front panel, and this is the handle to pack the bag, and that's the foam inside it. You can see how it swallowed it. You just use it to cover it and tape it with belt. So that's how to sort that one out, and that is aside. And we have the belts that we need, all the belts here, and of course our zip runner and the small belt, the zip runner, and the belt to tape the whole bag, and the adjusters. We need two adjusters, the zip runner and the belt to tape the whole bag. So I think basically that's all we need for this tutorial. This piece you are looking at that is small, is 3 inches by 3 inches, is to cover the belt. We cover the bag where the belt, what am I saying? To cover the belt on the bag. Where you sew the belt to the bag, use it to cover it just to make it look more professional. Though it's not necessary. This is the main belt I'll be taping with. So it's not necessary, but it's to make it look more beautiful. The bag